Can a motel owner refuse service to guests based on their race? To find out, you have to read Heart of Atlanta Motel versus United States, but it's 25 pages. Don't have time for that? I've got you covered. This is Too Long Didn't Read, where I normally cover New York Court of Appeals cases in 5 minutes or less. But this is part of a series on landmark cases. This is the episode on the case of Heart of Atlanta Motel versus United States, published on December 14th, 1964. The citation for the case is 379 U.S. 241, 1964. The issue in this case is whether Civil Rights Act of 1964, a law prohibiting racial discrimination, could force businesses like the Heart of Atlanta Motel to serve all customers regardless of race. To understand this case, there is a little background you have to know. First, the Commerce Clause. The Commerce Clause is found in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. In that section, the Constitution gives Congress the authority to regulate commerce with foreign nations, and among the several states, and with the Indian tribes. Second, the Civil Rights Law of 1964. That landmark law aimed to end segregation and discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, fundamentally reshaping the social fabric of the country. Title II of the Act focused specifically on public accommodations, stating that places like hotels, motels, and restaurants couldn't discriminate against customers based on race, ensuring equal access for all. This was a direct response to the Jim Crow laws that had enforced segregation in the South for decades, aiming to dismantle the deeply entrenched systems of racial inequality. So, what are the facts of this case? The Heart of Atlanta Motel was a large 216-room motel located in the bustling city of Atlanta, Georgia. It was well known in the area and attracted many visitors. The motel's owner, Morton Rolliston Jr., openly admitted to having a strict policy of refusing service to black customers. This was a clear act of racial discrimination. He even went as far as to argue that this discriminatory policy was beneficial for his business, believing it attracted more white customers. Rolliston firmly believed he had the right to choose his customers based on his own preferences, regardless of the new law. However, this policy was in direct violation of Title II of the Civil Rights Act, which aimed to eliminate discrimination in public accommodations. Consequently, the federal government could potentially take legal action against the motel, arguing that Congress had the authority to regulate interstate commerce. The owner of the Heart of Atlanta Motel sued to stop enforcement of the law, claiming the law was unconstitutional. The case first went to a special 3-judge district court. The court ruled in favor of the government. They said that the Civil Rights Act was constitutional. The motel owners, unhappy with the decision, appealed directly to the United States Supreme Court. This was the highest court in the land, and their decision would have a huge impact. This was a landmark decision for civil rights. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court sided with the government. They affirmed that Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce. This power includes the ability to prohibit racial discrimination by private businesses. The court held that the interstate movement of people was included in the term commerce. They said that the Heart of Atlanta Motel, by refusing to rent rooms to black people, was hindering interstate commerce. The legacy of Heart of Atlanta Motel continues. The Heart of Atlanta Motel decision was a major victory for the civil rights movement, marking a pivotal moment in the fight against racial segregation. It set a precedent for the use of the Commerce Clause to combat racial discrimination, reinforcing the federal government's power to enforce civil rights. The ruling sent a clear message. Racial discrimination would no longer be tolerated in places of public accommodation, such as hotels and restaurants. This case helped pave the way for a more just and equitable society, inspiring future generations to continue the fight for equality. It remains a cornerstone of civil rights law in the United States, symbolizing the ongoing struggle for justice and equality for all. If you like what you just saw and want to see more just like it, please hit like or subscribe to let me know.